We're live. I'm doing it again. I'm actually sitting on my couch today, and I'm going to flip and see how that works. Oh no, it says we're locked. Because we're live, we're locked. Okay, maybe I'll turn off that light behind me. Yeah, it doesn't seem to really matter. Okay, my daughter's asleep. My husband's on the way home. He went out camping this weekend, and I said, "Why are you doing that? It's going to be freezing weather overnight." He didn't believe me. Why do they never believe us? Why? That's better. Okay, I can't really see myself, but who cares? Making headway on that shawl. I was gonna wait and work some rows of this in, but decided I'm just getting the podcast done because I like to talk to you guys. I cannot believe how many have already commented on my little impromptu posting last night with Prue. Oh my gosh, isn't she a doll? I love it in those moments when she says she wants to be like me. It also brings home just the weight of having a same-sex child. You know, how much more of a example you are to them. But let me, before I forget, I'm live from Tucson, Arizona. I am TheYarnCloset AZ on Instagram and Ravelry. Hey Dee, how are you? I'm glad you had a fun time in Florida and got to enjoy some of that. So Yarn Closet AZ on Instagram and Ravelry. There is a Yarn Closet group on Ravelry. Get into the group for socks. I just love this. And I will be, the next Saturday I do this, announcing the sock winner of the sock thread. And once we get up to 50 members, there's going to be a prize sent out for the group. And I'm still contemplating alternating between the Ravelry and Instagram or YouTube commenters every other month for prizes. So I had one little overnight with the husband out of town, my daughter slept in my bed with the 3 dogs and me. That's Chippy. It's very cold here in Tucson. I think it got down to 26 last night. We do have times it freezes overnight. It's snowing where my husband is in the mountains. Yesterday there was snow on the mountains. Tucson is surrounded by mountain ranges, so we have very weird weather here. I just love it. The bummer is, this is when I want to wear all the socks and the sweaters that I haven't gotten to. So next year I'm going to really enjoy this time of year. And I hope there's a lot of reasons why I will enjoy this time of year next year. I don't want to wish away 2019 at all. I want to live it and enjoy it every moment. But I'm looking forward to being on the other side of some things that are going to happen this year, like homeschooling. I want to get to that point where my son can kind of take off on his own, and I am praying he gets there because I want him to feel that ownership and that accomplishment and no criticism. Oh, cool. She loves the tube. You know, that's what I was going to say about the sock deal. So most of the people on the Ravelry group who've been in the sock thread have already gotten one of the monthly prizes. If you ever win a monthly prize and you've already had one and you want me to send it to someone else, you just go ahead and send me their address. I'm always up for that. Since the main point is the sock tube and getting people exposed to that, because so many people have these machines and it can be really expensive to buy a pair of cranked socks in indie dyed yarns. I will, however, show you one of the really funny things. still working and finishing off this little pair. This is, the main color is Lolo Did It. I wore these without heels for quite a while. Okay. It's hung hem. And then was like, okay, now I'm going to put in the heels. Afterthought, put in the heel, measure, match it up. Totally, totally, totally. Absolutely. Do you see that one foot is almost an inch different? Do you see that there's at least, measure twice and cut once? Good God, blind women, measure for 6 days before you cut that stitch. Honestly, I measured, I counted rows, and yet on this one worked out just fine. They're totally matched up. So sometimes I can totally do it. Other times, absolutely not. So that will be the fun adventure of Sock 2019. I did finish that pair of socks that I started for his teacher and just pointed out to her and showed her that the cuffs were 2 different lengths and I just wasn't going to redo it. Yeah, I rarely brush my hair, people. Because then the excuse is when I think, oh, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel cute, I can just say, oh, it's because I didn't brush it. Unlike some of those days where I think, as I'm trying to put on the little bit of makeup I wear, because once again, I'm an example of my daughters, and I want her to look to me first. I don't want her to look to other women first. Is that... Hey, Carmen. Carmen commented. Like I said, I started wearing makeup a year and a half ago again, just to be that example to my daughter. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who has 2 different size sock making feet. Oh my God, there have been days I've showed up at work and I have lip liner here or here. It's not so bad when it's by your, when you use it instead of your eyeliner. So it's just so interesting to sit back. I actually have plans on New Year's with a friend to have lunch. And oh, we live about an hour and a half away, and since I don't drive, you know, it's a deal. It's a deal. But we're gonna actually start the new year with New Year's brunch this year, and that'll be neat. I'm really making a conscious effort this year in my knitting and my other things to put this one year to bed and start a new one. Because last year I consciously made the effort to start knitting, and I had a plan, which I didn't entirely complete because I was going to take a picture album of all the stuff that I worked on this year, and I didn't. But just through postings, there's a lot of stuff there. It's ridiculous. I mean, I love the Afterthought heel, but honestly, unless you're marking as you go, so there's a way to, as you knit it, put in waste yarn for that half a row. I am contemplating doing that from now on, just to try to be on. Makeup, yeah, geez Louise. And how am I supposed to be talking about periods with a girl when I'm like in my 60s? I mean, come on. You know, my grandma had a baby when she was 39. I think she was 39. And so I always thought, oh, if I have a baby that late in life, because my first one was 36. Big deal. 43 people, 43. You're too funny. Um, no, I cannot read the comments from this far away, but I can guess at words. It's shocking. I'm a pretty good guesser. That was one reason we knew in my 30s that my eyesight was getting that bad, because my guessing was that far off. Um, this is exceptionally fun though, this live business. And maybe we'll have to do like a yarn closet live knit night or something. I know some people have wanted to do that. Now that I've kind of figured this out, maybe that would be a possibility. CJ, if everything's going okay with you, that's possibly for you. Okay, I'm going to spill the beans. Here's the deal. One of the big things that's going to happen, other than trying to stay on a monthly schedule in my knitting and getting a sock accomplished every month, getting a hat or something on the hat machine accomplished, and trying to get 4 sweaters actually done. Because I've started a bunch, I've just never really gotten them done. I gifted a sweater, just a simple t-shirt sweater I crocheted to someone. I've crocheted a few sweaters and cardigans, but I really want to accomplish some this year. I think I can do it because I am hoping in the first half of this year to get in and have another surgery. You may or may not know about this. And I do believe in it. I don't know how much I'm necessarily affected by it. 20 years ago, my then husband convinced me to get breast implants because I had almost nothing. I mean, almost nothing. And you're supposed to replace them every 10 years. I was in my 20s. They did not tell me that at the time until a couple months later. And well, at that point here, about 10 years ago, I was going through another divorce. So I didn't have the funds, I didn't have the support system, and I thought, well, whatever. My health has deteriorated since then, and apparently the implants start to deteriorate. They may not burst, but they still give off stuff. Mine are saline, but they're still wrapped in silicone. There's many, many women who have much worse issues. But I have brain fog like you wouldn't believe. And people have always just said, well, it's because you had babies in your late 30s and early 40s. I swell up. I break out just all of a sudden in a rash. There are just certain things. So my husband and I were discussing because of the state of his health. And I said, you know, I'm coming up on the 20-year anniversary this year of having these things. I need to either get another set or just get them out. And I said, and to be honest, honey, I'm over it. I could care less if I go to literally flat chest. So, thank you, my dear. Thank you. So we just opted that I get them removed. And I am hoping, because I've contacted a doctor, I've got some friends who've had this done. One friend is about 2.5 years out, and she kept niggling at me to do something. And her health has improved dramatically since she had hers removed. And for me, yes, I truly hope that I am not exhausted all the time and that my brain fog lifts and some of the other weird things, the rashes. And yes, I'm heavily tattooed, But as my daughter grows up, I want to own my lack of God-given chest so that she knows however she is, she can own it and it's okay. Because my tattoos, they're not for anybody else. I mean, I grew up in Minnesota. This is how you dress 11 months out of the year. Nobody ever sees them. So they were all just my artistic thing in coping with my blindness, because that's when I got most of them. It was around the time that I became unable to drive. Tell her to look up breast implant illness. And there's a group on Facebook. I have a friend at work who wants to get them, and I've given her the information, but I'm not overly pressing. I don't feel like it really hit me in the first 10 years, but I feel like when I hit that 10-year mark and didn't have them replaced, that I really started feeling a lot of these symptoms that everybody else does. Because the bottom line is, it's a foreign body in your body, and it's in the place of your major organs. And like I said, I was extremely healthy for that time that I was in massage, where I was in massage school, was a massage therapist, and traded and got a lot of massage. I magically dropped weight, had shiny, healthy hair. I mean, massage did a lot to flush the toxins out of my body. And I'm working very much now on trying to do a little quarter-mile or half-mile walk outside when the weather's good, and do more chair exercises and stretches, and just keep my circulation going, and the dry brushing. Because I had a kid at 43 and a daughter, and I want to be there for her. And my 11-year-old son is special needs. And although he will be a normal grown-up, that nobody will really notice it, because most people didn't notice it about his biological father, I want to be there for them. My grandma lived to be almost 101, her mother 103. That's what I'm shooting for, people. So I try to be as health conscious as I can be. And I believe that knitting and crochet helps us immensely. First of all, you have to learn the languages of how to read the patterns. Secondly, we have to have awesome math skills. Third, we have to stay organized. I think it helps with arthritis. I think it helps with getting those creative juices flowing and natural dopamines and all that other stuff. Because as much as I would like to just sit and pet my dogs, making something is good too. They're all three. I have Magnus there, I have Chip here, I have Sadie there, and they're all three just sleeping. You might be able to hear the snoring dog. That's Magnus. So I will try not to harp on any of my health stuff, because I don't know, my whole thing and the way I was raised is a lot of people have health stuff and you still live your life. But I did want to put it out there. I have all the books to be organized, but I never write the notes down. I've even tried doing it on my phone. Still doesn't work. And I'm going to kick myself if I go back to that Tecumseh and I can't figure out where I was. Kick myself. That's what sweaters might teach me. Oh my gosh, they just look so cute when they sleep. So that is the end of my 2018. I accomplished what I wanted to. I got somewhere in my knitting, and I hope that we all have some goals for 2019, and I would love to hear what yours are. And I hope we can support each other in getting there. It's not always the easiest, and it doesn't happen overnight. At this time last year, I knew my husband was sick. And I knew I was going to have to say it out loud at some point. And there were times I tried to get him to the hospital, and it took months. And it was so hard. But I prayed, and I believe in that, and I did my research, and I did whatever, and when the words finally came out, and the situation was finally right, we just moved past it. And that's what I think a lot of our health issues are. Sure, a lot of us get housebound, but we still live in our houses. We still talk. We still knit. We still raise our families. We're still grandmas, mothers, wives. We still do it. So I hope that we can all continue to support each other, because the knitting community makes me so happy. It's the first time in really my whole life that I have felt like there are people who get me. So on that note, goodbye 2018. It was a tough one. It was a good one. I love where I am, and I'm looking forward to seeing where I am this time in 2019. Thank you. And once again, I have no idea how to turn this thing off. How do you turn this thing off? Okay, maybe not. Ooh, is that exit? That's all you can do, Carmen, every day. And somebody needs to help me figure out how to turn this off.